what is the real what do you feel like they got on you that they shouldn't have on you? Because I feel like with them probably seeing you grow up, they just got like, you can't be you.
Go.
Yeah, man, it's a lot about that TV show, man, that got people confused. Because I live with my grandma. You know, we'll go to the house on like a weekend. They'll say, hey, we shooting today. We need y'all at the house. They'll come get me from my grandma's house. And right after we done, when the cameras go off, I'll right back to my grandma's house. Yeah.
Hey, Kodak Black, you out of pocket, nigga. Fix that shit. Quickly, expeditiously, nigga. You out of pocket, nigga. If ain't nobody else gonna say it, nigga. I done said it to you, nigga. And if I see you, I'ma say it in your face, nigga. You out of pocket, nigga. Get yourself together.
You was an orphan. When
I was never an orphan. That was Batman. That's Batman's story. I'm a grandma boy.
Man,
I like to be in the neighborhood.
The Harris family, once crowned as pure hip-hop royalty, is now drowning in scandal. Everything flipped upside down when a wave of leaked photos allegedly linked to King Harris, the son of T.Y. and Tiny, exploded online like dynamite. And let's be clear, these weren't just innocent snapshots. They were bold, raw, and way too private to be circulating across the internet for the world to pick apart. Social media went crazy. Fans gasped, critics pounced, and suddenly the family that once looked like a picture-perfect empire was getting dragged through the dirt. People weren't just pointing at King either. They were coming for T.Y. and Tiny, blasting them as parents and questioning if they had completely failed their own son. The backlash was merciless, and while King tried to stay quiet, the noise around him only grew louder and louder, and then came the twist nobody saw coming. Rumors started flying that T.I. himself had allegedly cut ties with King, even disowning him in the middle of this storm. The same man who spent years building a rap legacy around loyalty, unity, and family values was now being accused of slamming the door on his own flesh and blood. That shocking claim turned an already messy scandal into a full-blown circus, and fans couldn't stop speculating about what was really happening behind those mansion gates. For years, the Harris name stood tall in hip-hop culture, but now, that legacy's looking shakier than ever. T.I., the self-proclaimed King of the South, wasn't just dropping hits, he was running an empire. He was the mogul with money moves, and alongside him stood Tiny, who came from R&B royalty with her legendary group Xscape. Together, they weren't just a couple, they were a dynasty, a blended family that climbed into America's living rooms through their hit show T.Y. and Tiny, The Family Hustle. On screen, they looked unstoppable, rich, powerful, and tight-knit like a fortress. But those polished reality show edits hit a storm that had been brewing for years. King Harris, born into flashing lights back in 2004, wasn't just another celebrity kid. He was loud, unpredictable, and always chasing the spotlight. At first, fans brushed it off as playful energy, but as he got older, that same wild spirit turned into reckless chaos. Soon, King was stacking one viral scandal after another. Explosive live streams, public outbursts, and drama that constantly dragged his family into the spotlight for all the wrong reasons. And then things went left in a major way when King became a father at a young age, and not without drama. He welcomed a child with a much older woman known online as Big Nana, and instead of support, the internet shredded him. Fans weren't celebrating this milestone. They were judging, gossiping, and accusing him of being reckless with his future. But the firestorm didn't stop there. The biggest shocker came when a viral TikTok claim hit the timeline, saying King might not even be the real father. Alleged DNA results started circulating, sparking chaos online. Memes spread like wildfire, with people clowning the entire Harris family like it was a circus act. Tiny tried to clap back, posting family photos with the baby and slamming the claims as nothing but clickbait. But by then, the internet had already crowned this scandal one of the wildest in hip-hop family history. The internet wasn't letting it slide. King's sister, Nick Poland, jumped in with a shady tweet, writing, "What street this word come off of, Chile?" And just like that, the drama exploded even bigger. Fans started digging up old clips of T.I.'s reaction to King's baby news, and let's be real, it didn't look like a proud father moment at all. His face said it all. Not joy, but worry, maybe even straight up doubt. That's when whispers about the baby's paternity stopped feeling like just messy internet gossip and turned into the main storyline. And just when things were already spiraling, an old ghost came crawling back: Kodak Black's beef with T.I. Back in 2019, Kodak hopped on Instagram Live and went wild, hurling personal and downright disrespectful shots at T.I.'s son, using words that had fans cringing. Back then, everyone brushed it off as regular trash talk during a rap feud. But now, with King caught up in leaked photos, baby rumors, and endless questions about his lifestyle, people are replaying Kodak's rant like it was a prophecy. Was Kodak just talking reckless, or did he actually know something years ago that's only making sense now? And here's the part that's got the internet buzzing even louder. When Kodak dissed King, T.I. never really defended his son directly. His clapbacks were all about his own pride and protecting his name, not King's. That silence is now creeping back like a shadow, making folks wonder if T.I. knew more than he ever let on. The Harris family's image isn't just cracked anymore. It's looking like a house of secrets waiting to collapse. Fast forward to 2025, and King Harris is right in the middle of one of hip-hop's wildest family sagas. Between the leaked photos, whispers of a double life, and the non-stop DNA drama around his child, King became a trending topic for all the wrong reasons. And just when it seemed like things couldn't get any hotter, he tossed gasoline on the flames with a shocking confession. King dropped the bomb that he never actually grew up in that glamorous mansion everyone saw on T.I. and Tiny, The Family Hustle. According to him, that perfect family life was nothing but smoke and mirrors. He claimed producers would pick him up from his grandmother's house, force him to smile for the cameras, and then ship him straight back once filming wrapped. That revelation shattered the squeaky clean family image and painted a completely different picture. A boy raised more by his grandmother than by his superstar parents. Fans instantly started connecting the dots, asking if that lack of day-to-day parenting was what fueled King's hunger for attention, his wild stunts, and his reckless behavior. Looking back, the signs were everywhere. King's antics weren't just teenage rebellion, when they were loud cries for validation. He went viral for bizarre moves like tackling the one-chip challenge with a homeless man, cursing out a corner store worker, and dropping crazy cash on new teeth just to flex online. Each stunt screamed louder than the last. Notice me. But instead of being celebrated for talent, King became infamous for outbursts. He even tried to stir up hype by challenging the late rapper Julio to a boxing match, a move many called a clout-chasing stunt, while others warned it was reckless given how dangerous rap beefs can turn. To some, it looked like King wasn't carving his own path at all. He was desperately testing boundaries, chasing a spotlight that always seemed just out of reach. Then came one of the most unforgettable moments in this saga, the NFL meltdown. What was supposed to be a chill father and son day at a football game turned into a viral circus. Cameras caught King puffing up his chest, yelling at the top of his lungs, and screaming that he was standing on business, like he was proving something to the whole stadium. The crowd looked stunned, and just when it seemed like things were about to explode, T.I. himself had to step in. The rap legend didn't just pull his son aside. He grabbed King in a real headlock, right there in front of thousands of fans with cameras rolling. That clip spread across the internet at lightning speed. To many, it wasn't just a father checking his son, it was full-on damage control in real time, a desperate attempt to show the world he still had authority over his spiraling child. For some, that headlock became the symbol of how wild King had gotten and how badly T.I. was struggling to hold the family name together. But the chaos didn't slow down. Not long after, King was arrested when police allegedly found weed in his car, and in seconds, another mugshot went viral. The timing couldn't have been worse. Just days earlier, he had dropped a flashy music video packed with guns and heavy street talk, trying to brand himself as some hardened figure. The internet tore him apart. Fans and critics clowned him, saying he was playing gangster, even though he grew up privileged, while others argued he was just a young man spiraling with no real guidance. Even Boozy felt the need to step in, warning King to calm down before things went too far. And let's be real, If Boozy of all people is the one telling you to pump the brakes, you're already deep in dangerous territory. Meanwhile, T.I. looked like a man split down the middle. On one hand, he tried to put on that strong front, showing public love and reminding everyone that King was still young and just figuring it out. But behind the scenes, sources claimed his patience was running on fumes. How many times could he step in with excuses before the world stopped believing him? Every time T.I. told fans, "It's just a phase," King would pull off another wild stunt that made things even worse. To outsiders, it looked less like a protective father and more like a man running out of explanations while his son burned down the family image piece by piece. But underneath all that chaos, some people saw something way more heartbreaking. Maybe King wasn't just rebelling. Maybe he was crying out from a place of pain. His online clapbacks gave it away. In one rant, King snapped, "If I'm the ugliest person in the world, what did that make you?" That didn't sound like arrogance. It sounded like hurt. It came off like someone who felt judged more than loved, criticized more than guided. And fans started asking the uncomfortable question, is this about bad choices, or is this about neglect? If King really did spend more time being raised by his grandmother than by his superstar parents, maybe that emotional distance left scars deeper than anyone realized. Suddenly, the viral meltdowns, the mugshots, and the reckless behavior didn't just look like rebellion anymore. They looked like cries for help that nobody in his family knew how to answer. And that's the real tragedy. Strip away the scandals, the headlines, and the memes, and what's left is a young man trying to figure out who he is outside the shadow of T.Y. and Tiny. Instead of being guided through the pressures of fame, he's been stumbling through it in real time, with the entire internet watching, judging, and replaying every mistake like it's entertainment. And now, with rumors swirling about King's child, whispers about his double life, and talk that T.I. may have publicly cut him off, the emotional distance between father and son is impossible to ignore. The big question haunting fans is this: is T.I. stepping back just to protect his brand, or is he really a heartbroken dad who doesn't know how to reach his own son anymore? Either way, one thing's clear. Every outburst makes the damage harder to patch up, and every messy headline pushes the wedge even deeper. To understand how King Harris ended up in this whirlwind, you've got to rewind and look at the bigger picture of where he came from. Clifford Joseph Harris Jr., the world knows him as T.I., was already a household name in the early 2000s, dominating the charts with iconic albums like Trap Music and Urban Legend. But he wasn't just a rapper. He was a mogul in the making. He was dropping back-to-back hits, running Grand Hustle Records, starring in blockbuster movies, launching clothing lines, and eventually building reality TV empires alongside his wife Tiny. On paper, it looked like the ultimate American dream: luxury, legacy, and Atlanta street credibility all rolled into one package. But here's the catch. While T.I. was busy building his empire, someone in the family was quietly getting left behind, and that someone was King. Born in 2004, King was thrust into flashing cameras before he even knew how to walk. By 2011, when the family hustle hit TV screens, millions of viewers saw what looked like a picture-perfect crew living in a mansion, smiling for the world. But behind those edits, the cracks were already forming. And now, in 2025, those cracks have blown wide open. But King later shattered that perfect illusion by admitting the whole thing was staged. He revealed he was never really raised in that glamorous mansion fans saw on TV. Most of the time, he was actually living with his grandmother. Whenever the cameras were ready to roll, the crew would scoop him up, put him in front of the lights, and then send him right back once filming wrapped. That confession flipped the entire narrative, proving the dream family life the world admired was more TV magic than reality. And that raised a tough question. Why would T.I. and Tiny, who had all the money, power, and resources, decide not to raise King full-time? Insiders say T.I.'s non-stop schedule played a massive role. At the peak of his career, he was everywhere, touring the world, recording albums, filming movies, cutting business deals, barely home long enough to breathe. Tiny wasn't any less busy, juggling her own music, managing multiple kids, and fighting to hold down her place in the entertainment world. So, the family leaned on Grandma to provide that stability. And while Grandma's love was real and unconditional, it could never fully replace the daily presence of two parents guiding their son through the intense pressure of fame. That gap might have seemed harmless at first, but over time it left scars. King wasn't just growing up. He was growing up under the shadow of fame with too much freedom and not nearly enough structure. And that freedom, it quickly turned into chaos. King had always been spirited, loud, and hungry for attention. Even as a kid on Family Hustle, he became known for funny one-liners and viral little moments. But as he got older, the cuteness faded, and the behavior got harder to manage. The same boldness that once made fans laugh now looked like pure defiance, arrogance, and chaos spiraling out of control. Social media became King's personal stage, but instead of shining through talent, he built a reputation off rants, messy fights, and reckless stunts. One day he was online beefing with randoms, the next he was getting clowned for barking at a store clerk or flexing like he was born for the streets. Fans started questioning, is this real rebellion, or just a cry for attention from parents who were too busy to always be there? Then came the infamous NFL game, the headlock incident that told the world everything it needed to know. Watching T, I put his own son in a chokehold in front of thousands of fans wasn't just parenting, it was desperation caught live. Years of tension, frustration, and missed chances all boiled over into one public spectacle that instantly went viral. That image didn't just symbolize a son spiraling out of control. It exposed a father who could no longer keep the family chaos hidden behind closed doors. And before the dust could even settle, King's arrest pushed the saga even deeper. Another mugshot hit the internet, another meme was born, and another headline dragged the Harris family name further through the mud. For a dynasty that built its brand on image, success, and reputation, this wasn't just family drama. It was brand destruction on display. And here's the part that cuts deep. King's story feels bigger than reckless choices. This is a kid who was famous before he even knew what fame really was. The cameras showed up before the lessons, the spotlight weighed heavier than the parenting, and now he's left stumbling, trying to figure out who he is, not in private, but under the most brutal audience of all, the internet, where every mistake is magnified and replayed like entertainment. The internet sees it all. When King lashes out, when he flexes, when he claps back at the haters, it doesn't just sound like arrogance, it sounds like pain. Pain from someone who's been judged more than guided, mocked more than mentored. And while T.I. built an empire, King's messy struggles are the brutal reminder of what happens when you chase success but lose balance at home. So where does that leave King now? He's no longer a kid the world can brush off. He's a young man standing at a crossroads, every decision broadcast to millions in real time. The burning question is, will he flip the script and build his own legacy, or will he keep spiraling into another cautionary tale of fame, fractured parenting, and public downfall? Did T.I. and Tiny miss their chance to keep him grounded, or is King too determined to walk his own path, no matter how chaotic it looks? Either way, one thing's crystal clear: the spotlight doesn't let go. In today's world of leaks, screenshots, receipts, and viral clips, there's nowhere left to hide. That's exactly why the Harris family saga has everybody locked in, because this isn't just about one young man making bad choices. It's about the wreckage that happens when fame collides with family. And nobody really knows how to handle the fallout. King Harris isn't just fighting off rumors and messy headlines, he's battling heavy expectations, family legacy, and the pressure of carrying T.Y.'s name on his back. Whether he rises above it all or keeps spiraling is something the world is watching unfold live, with every move turning into a headline. And let's be real, the next chapter in this saga might end up even crazier than anything we've seen so far. So what do you think? Is King just a young man making reckless choices, or is this the fallout of years of neglect, distance, and pressure behind the scenes? Could this story turn into redemption or a total collapse? Drop your thoughts down below and let's get into it. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button, smash that like, share this video with your people, and leave a comment on where you think this roller coaster is headed next. Trust me, you're not gonna wanna miss what's coming.